Hi everyone, this is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe, and I am live to take your immigration related questions. So go ahead, put your questions in the comments, and as soon as I get those questions, I will start to answer. So I usually come on every day. Hi there, Simply Me. It's nice to see you, and thanks for saying hi. I am here every day with few exceptions to answer your questions, and so here I am again today. I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I help clients to get their green cards and status in the United States. So if you have an immigration related question today, go ahead and put it in. Hi there, Negrita, too cute. It's nice to see you. So go ahead, put your questions in. Simply Me, how can someone living in a local country get U.S. citizenship? So I'm not sure what you mean by local country, but if you mean a foreign country, the first thing you'll have to do is get permanent residence, a green card in the United States. And the way that you qualify for that is through a family, through an employer, if an employer is willing to sponsor you for a green card, or through the diversity lottery program. So those are some of the ways that you can get that. The diversity lottery program is basically it's basically the lottery for the green card. Negrita, too cute. Do you work with deported people to come back if immigration made a mistake? Absolutely. I do. So what the first thing we'll have to do is schedule a consultation. I go through the facts to determine what the best solution is if you've been deported. And even if it wasn't a mistake, in some cases there are ways to come back to the United States through a waiver. So schedule a consultation and let's talk about what the best solution is. How much time does a U.S. green card take? So it could take as little as 9 months or as many years. So the longest that I know that the process can take or is taking right now is 22 years. If you're applying through a U.S. citizen sibling in Mexico. If you're applying somewhere in the Caribbean through a U.S. citizen sibling, it's taking about 14 years. However, if you apply through a U.S. citizen spouse or a U.S. citizen parent, if you're under 21 and unmarried, or a U.S. citizen son or daughter who's 21 and up, that process can be as short as 9 months. I have had a 9-month case, or it can be as long as 2 years. So keep those questions coming. Stocky95, can someone file for you to come work as their helper? So it depends. Theoretically, yes, but you would have to make sure that you meet the requirements. So keep those questions coming because I am here to answer your immigration questions. So Stocky95, if you would like to come here as a helper, and I think that there are ways to do that. It just depends on what type of employment-based card that you would, or employment-based visa you'd be applying for. Keep those questions coming. Phantom Phoenix 90. Thanks for joining. So if you would like to schedule a consultation, you can do that by going to my website and scheduling. So Stocky95, Lenny6511 is not an attorney and do not take advice from a non-attorney. Tara Matilal Alberahi, how long does it take for a child to sponsor her mother? She's a citizen, so the child has to be 21 and up to sponsor, and you could be looking at a process as short as 9 months or as long as 18 months. So it's one of the fastest processes. Now, if the mother came into the United States without a visa, say she didn't overstay but she crossed the border without permission, in a case like that, it could take longer just because a waiver is going to be required for the mother. And in order for the mother to qualify for the waiver, she would still have to have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident spouse or parent. So the process is a little more complex. Simply me. Okay. So user 2135, how many years does it take for approval when a sister applies for a sister? So it's at minimum 14 years. For example, in the Caribbean, in Mexico, it's as long as 22 years right now. HTTPS, how long does a 16-year-old take to sponsor his adult siblings? So a 16-year-old to sponsor the sibling, a 16-year-old, the person would have to be 21 and up to be able to sponsor their siblings. Simply me, if someone is applying for the U.S. residency through their auntie, how long do you think it will take? Aunts cannot apply for nieces or nephews. The aunt can apply for the parent, and the parent, if the parent can apply for the children. So the children have to be under 21 and unmarried to tag along with the mother or the sibling, but directly they can't file for them. So it's been 6 months since I filed and I've not received any letters. What's your advice? So Pink Bandit, go ahead and call the USCIS if you filed with them and make sure there's nothing pending on your end. Make sure everything is okay with the case. Negrita Too Cute, how long does a fiance visa usually take if I'm an American bringing an immigrant from the Caribbean? So you're looking at about 18 months for the fiance visa. And it depends, keep in mind also, it depends on the country, it depends on the backlog, it depends on the service center that's processing the application. So keep that one in mind as well. But the average time would be about 18 months. Tara, she is married to her mom is in the U.S. on a visitor's visa. So Tara, I didn't see the other part. I don't believe I saw the other part of your question. So can you go ahead and retype? So Stocky95, my two sisters are citizens, also my mom. I'm visiting and my mom don't want me to go back. She needs. So my two sisters are citizens, also my mom. I'm visiting and my mom doesn't want me to go back. So in that case, Stocky95, I wouldn't be able to give you specific advice. But what I can tell you is that your mom, if you're over 21, and your mom is a U.S. citizen, you're looking at about a 6 to 7 year process. And if you overstay, you wouldn't qualify to apply within the United States. What that would mean is that you would have to then apply for a waiver, and that waiver is basically asking for forgiveness for overstaying. And then if you get the approved waiver, you'd be able to complete the green card process in your home country. The waiver is going to be, you're going to have to prove that your U.S. citizen mom will experience extreme hardships without you. So it gets a little more complex if you're over 21. If you're under 21 and your mom is a U.S. citizen, then you could possibly qualify to apply while you're in the United States. I would highly suggest that you schedule a consultation to get the full explanation about your options so that you don't make any mistakes, you don't end up staying and regretting it, because I have seen situations like that. Negrita Too Cute, how long does a person with a visitor visa? So it depends on how long the officer at the border gives the person to stay. Stocky95, if I say 5 months, is it okay? It depends on how long the officer will give you when you're entering the country. So it's usually stated on your I-94. Sinkovic, how long does an I-130 take? It depends on who is applying for you. So an I-130 can be filed by U.S. citizen parent, spouse, sibling, and so it all depends on who. A green card holder also green card holders and U.S. citizens. The length of time depends on what category you fall in, what status your relative is. Stocky 95. Go ahead and retype your question, please, because I'm moving through forward and I'm trying to get to everybody's question. Stocky 95. So if I didn't answer it, go ahead and retype, please. Beauty by Chelsea. How long will it take my husband to sponsor me? So it depends on the status of your spouse. So U.S. citizen spouses, I've seen as short as 9 months, and I've seen as long as 2 years and continuing. One thing I want to say is sometimes the length of time that it takes depends on how the application is presented. If the evidence that is required isn't included, it could lead to a delay in the case. So one recommendation is make sure that application is good, so that there's a smoother application process. Stocky 95, you're welcome. Simply Me, can my adult cousin help in the process to get citizenship in the U.S.? No. So cousins, aunts, grandparents can't file directly for you to come to the United States and become a green card holder. You first have to be a green card holder before you become a U.S. citizen. So Angelindra 75, hi there, it's nice to see you. Beauty by Chelsea, he's a green card holder. So right now, I would say expect a 2-year process if you're married to a green card holder. However, it's a good time to apply because there is no wait time for spouses of green card holders. Okay, so Stocky 95, I'm glad I got to your question. So it will take me a little while. There is a little bit of a delay on my side. So just hang tight if you put your question in. I'm working to get to your questions ASAP. So Nika, how long it takes them to respond after you send the request for initial evidence? So it just depends on what type of application. It could be a few weeks to a couple months. User 2135, can you apply for visa to visit the U.S. while waiting on approval for a green card? You could certainly, there's nothing that will prevent you from applying. I have seen individuals get the visa, visitor's visa. However, if the green card is, say, it has a processing time of maybe 7 years, maybe the officer would be inclined to provide a visa, visitor's visa. However, if you're applying for a green card that's going to be another year until you get it, then the officer may not provide it. But you won't, as long as you go into the interview, you're honest, you're straight up, you could possibly get it, or the officer could deny it based on immigrant intent. Hi there, Candy Charles, it's nice to see you. So Beauty by Chelsea, I see. So he'll get citizenship this year. That's great, because then you can apply as the spouse of a U.S. citizen. So onegovernment@gmail.com. It's okay. I see you're busy. Okay. Nika for I-130. I didn't see the other part. So how long does it take to become a U.S. citizen now in 2021? So if you have to be a green card holder, and once you apply, it could take from 6 months to a year, or a little more than a year. So keep those questions coming, because I'm here to answer your immigration related questions. So put your questions in the comments and I will answer. So Barbie Davis 365, hi there, it's nice to see you. So keep in mind that there is a bit of delay on my end, so hang tight while your questions appear on the screen for me. So as I wait for the questions to come in, I just want to let you know that if you would like to schedule a consultation to get personal legal advice, you can go ahead and do that by going to the link in my bio. You'll see my number, you'll see a contact form where you can give us your information and we'll call you. and schedule a consultation that way by calling. So, Stocky 95, how long since you have been a lawyer? So I've been practicing law since 2013. So that is 2013 to now, almost 8 years. It's been, that time just flew by. One governmental Gmail. So yes, I do. So Drizzy Karim, what made you want to do this career? So ever since I was young, I have seen the law as a way to help people, and so that was what I mean. This is my dream, is to be a lawyer. I achieved the dream, and what made me focus on immigration law was the fact that my parents are immigrants. I was born in New York, but my grandparents were immigrants to the United States. And so I've seen them go through the process, and it really inspired me to help others to go through this process, because it can be tedious, it can be intimidating, and sometimes it can be outright intimidating, and some individuals don't know their rights, and so that's why I chose this career. So Tinichi, what is going on with President Biden's immigration plan? Unfortunately, it's still on hold. But the Biden administration and the USCIS, they have been busy still. So they have been reversing Trump's policies, the hostile policies against immigrants, and they have been really, putting in policies that are more just and fair to immigrants. So they've still been busy. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten anything about the proposed law before Congress, and that's because it's very controversial. So user 2135 got approval. No, let's see. My aunt applied for us when I was 9 and my little sister was 4. I'm now 27 and she's 22. Will we still get approval now that we are adults? So unfortunately, if it's still pending and it hasn't been approved, you would not be, because you've aged out. So there is something called the Child Status Protection Act, and it's a law that was put in place to try to freeze the child's age, so that even if they did go over the age of 21, they would still be able to come along with the parents. However, it's at the point that it's approved. So when it's approved and there's an immigrant visa number available, then what they would do is they would look at the time that it took from filing to the time that an immigrant visa number became available, and they will look at that time and then subtract it from the age over 21. And if it still falls under 21, then it would be favorable. But in this case, because the application there's no immigrant visa number available, then they wouldn't do that formula, and you've aged out, unfortunately. So keep those questions coming, because I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So thank you, Tanichi, for the follow. So Stocking 95, my consultation fee is $150, and it is for up to an hour. It is well worth it, because you walk out, you knowing exactly what you need to do, your options, and you walk out with me as your attorney if you need that as well. So I'm Stocking 95. I do consider myself Jamaican. My parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in Jamaica. That's why I do have the Jamaican accent. So you are right. You did identify the accent. Grew up in Jamaica. I am also a U.S. citizen. So keep those questions coming. I'm here to answer your immigration questions. So while I'm here, take advantage of it. Now I'm here every day, and I'm here. I like to close out the day with you as I'm doing now. So go ahead, put your questions in, and if you don't feel comfortable putting your questions in, you just want to listen today, but if you have a question in the future, you can always join me. Just follow me. You'll get notice when I'm live, and then you can hop on the live and ask your questions. So right now, I don't see any more questions coming in. So I am going to close out. But thank you for all your great questions. If you would like to schedule a consultation with me, you can do that by calling 561-405-4889. And what I will do is, when the scheduling coordinator will speak with you and get you on my calendar and confirm that appointment. Now, if you call now, what's going to happen is you will get the after hours receptionist who will still take great care of you, take your name, take your information, and then on the next business day, you'll be able to schedule a consultation with a scheduling coordinator. So have a good night, everyone. I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye.